So I'm working on reskinning this game, and I'm making this game, Sully. It's called Sully, a very serious RPG. It used to be called the Sully Chronicles. I still call it that quite often because I'm still not used to the new name. The new name being the name I think it's had for several years now. And I'm working on these dwarven mine type areas, and I thought I might do a quick little tutorial on how I've been sort of faking pixel art. So I'll just make one of these statues. You can see it right here. I just finished this one and it went pretty quick, and I thought, hey, I might record it and show you guys how I'm doing this. So I'm not really a big talker. I'm sure that's evident. I'll try to go over every little step I make, though. I know a lot of people who do tutorials and stuff, they skip a lot of things, and it's very easy to do because it becomes habit. I'll try not to do that. So what I'm working with here is I was given some old maps, and I'm just doing pixel art to go over these old maps, make them look newer, update the art, so to speak. I haven't none of this is mine except for this dwarven character right here in the middle. I just did it and I dropped him on a spot I thought he would look cool. I put one over here as well, and I want to do one more, maybe with an axe or shield or something, and I'm going to put it on top of these stone pillars here and here, and just kind of make them go into the rock work. Here was the original. Let me see if I can get it to show up on my monitor. There we go. Here was the first dwarven picture I did to sort of set the mood for how all dwarven stuff in this game was going to look. So I'm using it to sample colors and everything from, and sort of the style I'm going to try to maintain through all of the other dwarven things in this whole zone, in this area. Here we go. I think I've got it so that my entire display is showing up now. Alright, so I'm going to keep this dwarven character, this dwarven background under here. I'm going to keep it open over here on the side to sample colors from and remind myself of the style I'm trying to maintain with these dwarves. Here is the map I'm working on. It's huge. I'm going to try to not take forever on it, but it's going to take a while. It's a big one. It's probably the biggest map in the game that I've done so far. So the first thing I've been doing is sort of sketching out right here on its own layer. I'm going to make a new layer so I don't mess anything up. I'm going to sketch out sort of where I want this dwarf to be so that it fits. This isn't really pixel art. I'm not a real good pixel artist, so I'm sort of faking it. Really good pixel artists will probably not care for what I'm about to do. It's sort of barbaric, but I'm trying to, we're sort of on a budget, and I'm trying to make sure that the game looks good. And with modern technology, you don't really have to stay true to pixel art. You can get away with a lot of stuff and it still look like a retro game. So I've drawn this dwarf shape out. I'm going to give him a mustache coming out here. Here's his beard. I'm going to draw half, then I'm going to flip it like so. Put it together when I'm done. And then I'll have both sides, and then I'll kind of touch it up on either side to make it more random. But for now I'm just sketching out half of how I want it to look, keeping the square shape I have with the others. Alright, so I've got that. I'm selecting all, Control X to cut it. I'm going to go to another document, the white background. I'm going to enlarge this. I'm using this is how I usually quickly enlarge stuff. This tool here, which I don't actually know what it's called. I think it's a cropping tool, but you can crop out and hit enter and make things larger. Okay, so I'm going to sample my darkest color, make a new layer over here, and I'm going to shape it in. And we know this is roughly the correct size. I'm actually painting it to the actual size it's going to be in game. Generally you would want to do something larger, but with this kind of pseudo pixel art method I've been using, I find that just painting it the intended size, is sort of helping me out. So here's his eye. Okay, I can get rid of this old layer. Let's put a nose in there. Alright, I'm making another layer under these lines that I'm going to use for color. And I'm using a soft brush here, I'm not using a hard brush. Filling that in, the dark color. Alright, I'm going to sample sort of a medium color here off of my dwarf that I originally did. And the light, I've been mostly making the light come from straight above for all of the assets so that they can sort of be put anywhere in the game. So for some reason my software stopped recording at this point, so I'm going to re-record the audio and try to remember everything I said. The important part at this stage is to get the highlights set up so that you can see the rough shape of the sculptures. I'm going with sort of a square shape, so I'm going to try to keep hard edges and flat surfaces, which will read really well to the player, hopefully. Putting some edge lighting and rim lighting to make certain corners pop out. Specifically right here, you can see that adding these hard lines really gives a lot of shape to the statue. This is really useful when you're doing like tables and stuff like that. Okay, so right here I'm going to merge these layers. I select the top one, then I hold shift and select the bottom one. Then I'll hit Control E, and that'll merge all the layers you have selected. I'm using the rectangle select tool to get a good hard edge there. And then I'm gonna make another layer underneath to clean it up, fill in there, and then I'll merge those layers as well. Just select and then hit delete, and it'll give you a straight edge. I want to keep it as rectangular as possible as per the style of the dwarven sculptures and stuff. Now here I'm holding Alt and using the move tool to drag it, and it'll create a second layer. If you hold shift while you are holding Alt and you drag it, it'll keep it level, so that it makes it easier to drag kind of in a straight line like it's on a ruler or a slide or something. Then select both, Control E again. And here I'm just making the edges a little harder and cleaning it up using the eraser. Okay, so I've got it merged. I've got some highlights in place. It's starting to actually look like what I intended it to look like. Now next, what I'm going to do is create a new layer. And then down here in the corner, I don't know exactly what this button is called right here. but when you click it, it'll let you set specific layer types, and we're going to do posterize. That'll let you select how many colors are displayed from everything below that layer. I usually use about 10 to 15 to sort of get a pixel art look while not actually having done any pixel art myself. It's sort of like just reducing the colors that are available without losing your previous work. So you can see over here, this layer, I can turn it on and off, and it'll reduce the color or give me my original back. Then on this layer here, in between them, I'm going to add a texture which will break up the image quite a bit. Any minute I go and get the texture. Here we go. This is an aerial photograph of, I believe, a Middle Eastern part of the country. I don't really know. I don't even remember where I got it, but I use it a lot for rock textures. I've had it for years and years. I use it quite a bit. So what I'll do is I'll hold Control and then click on the image there on the layer, and it will select all the non-negative space on that layer. So you hold Control, click on the image on the layer you want, and then I can go to Edit and Paste Into, and it'll paste into the selection. It'll already be masked. Then I'll hit Control T to transform, move it around how I want. Then I'm going to set it to soft light, the layer with the texture. I'll turn it down to 60 or 50 or so usually. And then when I turn the posterize layer back on, it'll reduce the colors and kind of make it look like it's been pixel arted. You can even edit it while the posterize is still on. Move things around a little. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is create another layer, and I'm actually going to use the pencil tool with a 1 pixel size and go in and sort of add highlights and stuff. This will really help make it look like pixel art. Okay, what I'm doing here is one of my favorite things to do, and I'm going to duplicate the window. So if you go to the top of Photoshop, click Window, click Arrange, and then click New Window for whatever the name of the file is you're working on. It'll create a second window, and they'll be linked so that you can edit one and see what you're changing on the other window. It's really good for when you want to zoom in and do work and see how that looks while zoomed out as well over on the right hand side. Now all I'm doing here is popping in the what I believe to be the most important highlights. This will help keep the shape more apparent and also make it look a little more pixel arted, a little tighter. And these are looking a little hard, so what I'll do is I've got them on their own layer, so I'm not hurting anything. I'll probably set that layer to like 50%, then create a second layer on top. Use the same color I'm using now, and on that new layer just refine it a little bit. And this doesn't seem quite as harsh as it did a moment ago. Okay, yeah, I'm liking how this looks, so I'm going to go ahead and close this second window. And then let's see what I'm probably going to merge them all now. Yes, so holding shift, I'm going to click the bottom one, then hit Control E to merge everything. Now I'm just going to tighten up the edges a little bit, make them a little harder. Try to get rid of some of the fuzz. Using a dark color to strengthen those edges. Okay, so now I'm going to select all, Control X for cut, then I'm going to Control V, paste it into the map and start placing them where I wanted them to be. Holding Alt and dragging, I can duplicate the layers so I can place multiple ones. And that's about it. I wish I hadn't lost my original audio. I may do another one here in a little while with the correct audio, and that'll probably be better. I hope it was helpful, and if you have any questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them.